Replacing or adding an attic stair system is a great way to make your attic more useful, and it's a project that you can do yourself in just a weekend. We're going to see how to cut and brace a hole for a new attic stair entrance, and then how to install the ladder into that hole. If you're just replacing some existing stairs, then that will be the part you want to focus on. But if you're starting from scratch, we have that covered as well. We found the perfect place to install our attic stair right here in the garage, so let's go. We know we want our attic stair toward the front of the garage, and we know our ceiling joists run from side to side in this direction. So what I'll do now is take a screw, pop it up through the drywall. That way when I go up in the attic, I'll be able to locate the screw and find the general location of the attic stair. Then we'll use the ceiling joist to determine the final location. Now that we're up here in the attic, we're going to take a look for that screw that we placed as a reference point. Once we find that, we can determine which of these joists we're going to cut. We only want to cut one so we can header it off and put our attic stair in. Now we know we need to be 22.5 inches wide and 54 inches long, so as soon as we find that screw, we can determine which joist to cut. Okay, here's the screw. So now that we found that, we know it's between these two joists. We can use this one as our stationary, then we'll cut this one, header it off, and then put our attic stair right in this section here. Before we cut our joist, we're going to brace it first. That way it doesn't sag as we're cutting. Now that everything's properly braced, we're going to go ahead and cut our joist. We're going to start out with a circular saw, cut most of the way through, and then we're going to finish it off with a small box saw so we don't damage any drywall. Now that our joist is cut, we're going to put 2 pieces of lumber in the front to header it off and 2 pieces in the back. These 2 pieces will run perpendicular to the joist that we cut, and then we'll use this double joist hanger for support. We have a 30.5 inch span. We need a 22.5 inch span. So we're going to take another joist, run it parallel with this one, use a single hanger in the front and the back, and then we'll be set. We have our framing in place, so we're going to go ahead and mark our 4 corners. We're going to drive a screw down through each one of those 4 corners and then cut the drywall from underneath. That'll keep it much cleaner and we don't have to do any drywall repair. Okay. Let's take a look at the stair unit we have here. It comes with a door, a ladder, hinges attached to a frame that surrounds the whole unit. Quick note, you want to leave this tie in place until you're completely finished with the installation. Otherwise the ladder could unfold and injure someone. And while we have it down here, you can go ahead and attach the pull cord through this hole right here. Next step, we'll take these temporary support boards and mount them to the bottom side of the header right here. This will give us a temporary place for the attic stair to rest while we work. Now's the part where you're going to need a friend. You need one person in the attic and then one person down below. Because what we'll do is hand this attic stair up and kind of get it positioned into place. Once we get it right where we need it, we'll lower it back down onto our temporary supports. That's it. Perfect. Okay, that's just right. So we want to make sure our frame is square in the hole. So what we're doing is measuring diagonally in both directions. As long as they're within about 1/8 of an inch of each other, we should be good to go. Now if they're not, we can use some shims to square it up. Add our temporary support screws so that we can get everything shimmed in exactly where it's supposed to be. We're going to go ahead and pre-drill on this hinge side for our lag screws. Okay, now that we've got our attic stair in place, we can go ahead and test for smooth operation, make sure it works properly, which it does. So now we can remove our temporary supports and trim any shims that we use to put it in place. Since these ladders are adjustable, we'll want to take a measurement from the floor all the way up to the bottom edge here opposite the hinge. Once we have this measurement, we can refer to the manual and see exactly how much we need to cut off the legs. Now it's finally time to cut this tie. We'll unfold the ladder and cut our legs off to size. In order to get this ladder finally fit the size, we'll take the adjustable feet here, slide them onto the legs in place, make sure we apply pressure down so it sits squarely on the floor. Then we'll take our pencil, mark the hole, and then all I have to do is drill the hole and put the bolt through. There we go, just a little decorative trim to finish it off. Now we're all done. This is a simple project that'll add a lot of value to the attic. And with some tools and materials from Lowe's, you can do this yourself.